Hello again everybody, and welcome back to the British Av Geek YouTube channel. If you're brand new to the channel, very warm welcome on board to you. I hope you find the video enjoyable, and if you do, please consider clicking that subscribe button down below and give us a like as well. If you're a regular on the channel, then a very warm welcome back on board to all of you guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate every single one of you for being here. Today what we're doing is another challenging approach in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, using some freeware scenery on flightsim.to and the Boeing 747-8 with the Salty Sim mod in its current state, and we're flying into the old Kai-Tak International with the infamous IGS Checkerboard Approach for runway 13. So you can see we're in this stunning Cathay Pacific livery, and we're making our way in towards one of the VORs at the start of the journey into the airport. So let's look at the charts. I've had to use Google for this, of course, because a lot of the charts don't exist anymore, with the airport no longer actually existing. But this is all the information we need really, and the scenery is actually being created to work with these charts. So we're on our way into Chungchow, which is the VOR in the centre of the screen, with that frequency of 112.3, and we want to go outbound, radial of 270 degrees, up towards this terrain, turning right then towards the Charleroi NDB, which is over the new Hong Kong International Airport where it currently is. Then turning right to fly that IGS glide slope down to the checkerboards, before we then intercept those infamous lights for that final turn to land at the airport. And we've got the frequencies 111.9 for the ILS, or the IGS, and a couple of other bits, including the Charleroi NDB, the IGS NDB, and the Tathong Point VOR for go-arounds. If we scroll down, we can see that we need initial approach at 8,000, descending down to 6,000 feet, before turning for SL NDB over Hong Kong International, where we would intercept the glide path for the IGS approach into Kai-Tak with a 3.1 degree glide slope. Our minimums are 660 feet, but we should really be able to see the markers well before that, and flying it visually from there. And we've got missed approach information and things for us as well to bear in mind, all historical charts of course. So let's go ahead and put all this data into the aircraft. There's still a lot to be done in the Salty Sim mod at the moment, including VOR, so it functions properly, and a few various other things as well. But the RadNav page works, so we're going to go into there. So click RadNav on your FMC, and we want to go to the ILS at the bottom and input the frequency of 111.9. That gets accepted into there. Chungchow VOR of 112.3, and an outbound course of 270 degrees from that VOR station. Next, ADF left and right. We'll use ADF right for the Charleroi NDB 268, and the runway 13 IGS NDB 331.1. We'll put that into ADF left. VOR right, we can use the Tathong Point VOR for go-arounds, that's 115.5. And a course back in when we're in the hold there, 315. So that's all of that complete. Of course we can go ahead and continue to set up, so we'd want auto brake 2 or 3, or if it's an Airbus you could use low, and we want to arm the speed brake as well, and it should be down for armed. You can see that the aircraft has mapped in the data here because it's been configured nicely in the scenery. Make sure your standby instruments and things have got the same pressure. What was it currently? 1015, I think. And same here as well. We can go ahead and turn, we've got VOR left on already, we can go ahead and turn ADF right on to track SLNDB there, and CH VOR left there. However, if we go across to the VOR page, unfortunately it doesn't really give us very much information at all. This here is actually the best we're going to get. In the current state of the 747. Hopefully by the time you guys watch this it will change significantly again for you. It's telling us there we should be at flaps 1, so let's go ahead and put flaps 1 in. Let's see what flap settings are we at. Yeah, flaps 1. And we're at the ref speed for flaps 5 too. So let's put that in. Setting up early is going to be key. Especially the actual procedure is going to happen very quickly for us. And hopefully we get a good show on the way in as well. We've got some great weather and nice time of day as well for this. If you give this a go yourself in the sim, especially if it's Microsoft Flight Simulator, do let me know how you get on in the comments below. And be sure to check out all the other tutorials I've got for all sorts of other challenging approaches like Samos, Ajaccio, and a few other parts of the world as well with some hard approaches. And be sure to check out my VATSIM tutorials as well. If you want to get started on the VATSIM network and you're not quite sure where to start, then I've got a whole tutorial mini-series dedicated to help you get on the network. So hopefully you find all of that useful as well. So we're going to hold 8,000 until we get a little closer. One thing to note: if you're in any specific aircraft, like the A320neo in the sim, that has a particularly good ground proximity warning system, then you want to go ahead and turn it off for this approach, because it will go absolutely mad and scream at you through the approach. In the current state of the Salty Simulations mod, however, the ground proximity override doesn't work for us, so there's actually no way for us to be able to override that, but I don't think it works particularly well currently, so we shouldn't get too low terrain or anything like that. If you want to download the scenery for Kaitac that we're using today, then check the description down below as well for the flightsim.to link. And if you've not flown around Hong Kong, or this part of the world at least on Microsoft Flight Simulator, it is absolutely stunning, so I highly recommend it. Of course as well, when we're on the approach, we want to disable auto thrust, or the auto throttle. And about 15 miles now till the turn. To do this in the sim, you will need some sort of scenery because it doesn't exist anymore. You'll need something that will allow you to fly in and out. And there's actually two sceneries available currently, but this one is certainly the better one, I think, of the two. They've got a nicely functional IGS board system and the trailing lights. Let's go next flap setting. There's the new Hong Kong International, or the current airport, the one that's actually there in real life. Kai Tak is, in fact we can see the IGS lights there actually in the distance. It's quite cool. So down to 6,000. And in fact we could do a continuous descent down to the actual glide slope, altitude of 4,500. But we will need to intervene with vertical speed mode, so the aircraft doesn't get carried away with itself. And we want to slow down to about 180 knots for the turn. So next flap setting. So we're looking for. And all we've got really left to do now is control the speed a bit more and configure for our next, for our final approach basically. We could at this point go ahead, because it doesn't really actually give us currently a functioning VOR system. We can go ahead and arm the ILS approach mode. Look at that sunset. Good, passing 6,000 now, so in a second we should start to turn. We can see that glide slope starting to pick up here as well. And making our turn in. We'll bring the speed down to our next reference speed, 168 knots, flaps 25. We'll go ahead and select that as we fly towards Hong Kong International. In the sim, Kai Tak is, instead of VHHH, it's VHHX. Because obviously can't have two at the same airport. And then flying over the airport on the way in. So the aircraft's going to turn us right over Hong Kong International now, directly over the airport. So we can go ahead and arm the localizer mode to start to track and intercept that ILS. And we want to arm approach phase when we get towards capturing the glide slope as well. What we'll do now is start to actually slow the aircraft down to our VREF. approach phase. Missed approach altitude is climbed to 4,500 foot, so that's already set. And the aircraft should start to descend any second. We go ahead and go gear down, we'll go full flaps. And there's our approach speed on the PFD. Captured the glide slope. And looking further ahead, we can actually see those lead-in lights there for the approach. So we want to be able to see those really closely, and also the checkerboards. That's a bit better. VREF is a little low. We want about a 3-degree glide slope, 3.6 it said. So just tinkering with the speed to get that 3.6 degree glide slope properly. And we've got gear down, we've got full flaps, and the spoilers are armed. No doubt we've been given clearance to land as well.
2,500.
And we go ahead and turn that terrain mode off on the map. So we've got missed approach altitude set. We also want to fly 13. So we've got that setting as well, just in case we go around. And that's our runway heading as well, 315. And one thing I did forget to do actually is to set the minimum 650. So just as I remembered to do that in good time. And at some point we should be able to see the checkerboard, so we can see the lead-in lights, of course, and just behind these skyscraper type things here there should be the checkerboard as well. He says as the sim badly renders in the scenery. Don't forget we need to disarm the auto throttle. So the throttle response now is all down to us. And there's the checkerboards. So make sure your view's nice and set up for because it's going to help you. When we get to about 1,000, I'll take over and fly it manually. Okay, my controls.
1,000.
and as the lights hit the nose, following the lights around.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Hopefully over time the flight model for the Boeing 747 will improve significantly as well, so that we will actually be able to fly the aircraft nicely. It will handle a lot better then. At the moment there's a significant amount of ground effect that holds the aircraft up. Hopefully over time that will improve. Let's get rid of the master warning. Let's bring those flaps in. It's freeware scenery, so there are lots of issues with it, including the weird floaty lights that we can see right now. So give it a go and let me know how you get on in the comments below, and especially if it's in the Airbus A320neo, this should certainly be quite an easy little approach to do, thanks to the great work from those mod teams. Fly-by-wire. Similarly with the CJ4 as well, I'd imagine it'd be quite nice. If you do it in the 747-800, let me know how you get on as well. I'd be quite interested to know how you managed that final bit of landing there, because as you guys could see, I floated quite significantly there, but very little can be done in the state of the sim at the moment with that, the way the 747 handles. We just have to wait for a Sobo to fix that. Hope you enjoyed the video today, and be sure to check out the freeware scenery of course, and click subscribe as well while you're here, and join me for a live stream at some point in the very near future. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.